Hi, Greg Hickson, GravyGrowth.com. Are you looking for a risk-free business startup? Really? If you're here because you wish to launch a risk-free business startup, you've come to the right place. You're about to learn how to make your own luck. But first, you need a diagnosis. You have an affliction called risk aversion. This is a common disease which affects about 9 out of 10 people every single day. The symptoms include stunted growth, misfortune, disappointment, anxiety, and want. So if you don't wish to be found wanting, pay attention. Risk aversion is a reluctance to risk taking. It's a false sense of security and it has lack of prospect. Even if you decide to work for somebody else versus launching a business startup, your career will stagnate if you don't take any risks. You may end up getting laid off during a downturn. Employers don't want employees who are unwilling to achieve. Achievement requires risk. When you hesitate to take risks, you think you're playing it safe. You're not. Someone else will capture the opportunities and squeeze you out. So, how can you fight this risk aversion affliction? First, you need to learn that failure is okay. Failure is part of growth. You learn from it. It molds and shapes your pursuits. Failure makes you stronger. After you accept failure as a function of the achievement process, learn how to deal with it. There's a 3-step course of action which will turn failure into success. Failure acknowledgement. Failure must be acknowledged early on. If your actions fail, stop what you're doing right away. Don't waste any more of your time. Failure evaluation. Now evaluate the failure. What caused it? What was missing? What did you do wrong? Be honest with yourself. You need to learn from this failure. Course correction. Then create a new plan of action. Lay out a different course based on the new understanding. When launching a business startup, always realize that business failure is normal in the beginning. Update and evolve your business startup business model until you get it right. Then, instead of looking for a risk-free business startup, you can start looking to launch a business startup with potential. Loss aversion. Loss aversion is an economics term. It refers to how people are affected emotionally much more by loss than by gains. Losing $100 has a much stronger impact on us than gaining $100 will. This emotional impact causes irrational decision making. Suffering even a small loss can cause you to feel risk aversion. Please don't allow this endless cycle to begin. Remind yourself how much you've gained prior to your loss. Plan your future gains and remind yourself of these plans regularly. You can do it, and you don't need to waste your time looking for a risk-free business startup. The sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is a deception which pushes you to continue with a bad decision. You've already invested much time, effort, and money. This causes you to believe you must stay the course. You'll continue even when it's a bad idea. Let go of it. Start fresh with a clear mind. Success is at stake. Use a consensus approach for a more risk-free business startup. Include 2 or more associates in your decision to take a risk. Utilize your network and include your mentors. In this approach, only proceed if everyone agrees. There are 2 problems with this approach. For one, groups typically play it safe when making decisions together. This will reduce risk, but it also reduces potential gains. Another problem is time. Groups take more time to decide than individuals do. In business, many decisions must be made more quickly. Make your own luck. The term make your own luck was born from the idea of calculated risk taking, risk mitigation, risk management. Now that you're ready to take some risks, let's look at how you can manage them. Risk management strategy. Start with threat assessment. What are the threats? What harm can they cause? Detail each one carefully. You don't want to miss any. Some threats will be ominous. Others will be small and silly. You can prioritize these threats based on probability and potential harm. Then identify the major risks involved and find ways to reduce them. What can you put in place to prevent failure? What protections can you create to prevent damage from that failure? Think this through based on your circumstances. You'll mitigate each risk one by one. You won't end up with a risk-free business startup, but you will have a risk-managed business startup. Now go, take some calculated risks, and be willing to fail. The rewards will be great. Thank you for watching. Please visit my site, GravyGrowth.com, where you can read the content and to see my latest posts.